In a world that seems to be moving faster than light, with AI and so much advances in technology, and texting actually replacing a personal phone call, are we losing the human connection? What do you think? Hello, everyone. Welcome wherever you are in the world, whether you're listening live or the replay. This is Motivational Mondays with the Own It family, the Own It team of contributors to our magazine. And today we're posing the question, and we're going to delve and take a deep dive into, are we losing the human connection, and how do we strengthen it? Doing some research. I'm going to be writing another book, and what I came across was there's much concern about losing the human connection, that people, researchers, everyone out there, and this is throughout the world, feels that the human connection is disappearing, that we're too much into our own bubble, that we're too much into ourselves, and we don't really realize what we're doing. So I'm your host. I'm guest hosting today. I'm Teresa Palmer, part of the Own It family, contributing author to Own It magazine and Phoenix Fitness magazine. And I have my panel with me today, and we are going to strengthen and give you ways of strengthening that human connection. So I'm going to start with Nathaniel, and he'll introduce himself and give you his insights into this.
Oh, wow. Let's see. So I'm Nathaniel Ross, Abundance Legacy Inc., which is a nonprofit 501c3 for personal growth and development. And the topic for today is right on point because we are disconnected as people, whether it's in our social lives or whether it's in our business lives. We're finding ways to use technology to not connect. We have to be able to find a balance between the two. And we're not navigating that too well as a society. In the personal setting, people rather text and email than talk. So you go to a restaurant, and if you observe, you see families sitting together, you see boyfriends and girlfriends sitting together. They're not talking to each other, they're texting each other. You see siblings texting messages back and forth to each other when the person is literally sitting right next to them. So we're just not navigating it on a personal front too well. On the business side, we keep jumping because we want to be in the lead. We want to be ahead of everybody else. So we're using technology. And I'll give this small example, and then I'll keep quiet and hear what the other panelists have to say. But when you can go from a big major movie production that requires hundreds, if not thousands of people to make that movie happen, and you can now do it with AI in 90 seconds, you eliminate all those people and all those interactions with each other. And that's not boding well for the industry, and it's not boding well for human connection. And that's how we learn, and how we grow is through interactions with each other of how to behave and how not to behave. So those are my thoughts. Tiffany, what do you think?
Man, we definitely have lost that human connection. And look, before I begin, I'm Tiffany. I am Tiffany Parra. I am here it's not sunny right now, California. I am CEO and editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, as well as coaching and consulting. I remember having my son at home, and him being upstairs and me being downstairs in the kitchen, and having a text message come through. What? You're upstairs. You need to bring your butt downstairs and come and talk to me and tell me what's going on. And you're so right. You see that everywhere we go. People are in groups. They're not talking. They're looking into their phones, and then they're snickering and laughing at the phones, and they're talking to each other. it's insane to see that a piece of equipment has now taken that connection from us, where we don't even look at each other anymore. You look at someone in their eyes as you're passing them, they look down real quick. They don't want to connect with you. And I have to connect. I am a hugger. I have to have that conversation with someone. So to be honest with you, the way things are going, it's really pissing this girl off, because I wish that, I wish that I could, have a space where I could just take people's technology away just for a little bit, so they can connect with themselves again. Because we're not even connected with ourselves. When was the last time that you out there sat down, took a deep breath, and said thank you to your toes? Thank you to your feet for helping you go places. Thank you for your heart for beating life into your body. When was the last time that you connected with yourself, right? So if you can't even connect with yourself, how are you going to connect with anybody else? And this is because you're so connected to this. So that's what I got to say about this. What about you, Dr. Durain?
Oh my goodness. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Dr. Durain Irvin, pastor and CEO of 3-in-1 Ministries, international speaker, and best-selling author. Glory to God. I must be the dinosaur in the room, because I'm the person that when people send me a text message, I pick up the phone and call them, and I say, hey, how you doing? What's up? And they were like, did you read my text? I said, no. They said, why not? I said, because I want to hear your voice. Well, read the text. No, tell me what you have to say. Right. And they go, Pastor, you're going to have to come into the 21st century. I said, I refuse to. I want to hear your voice. And when we get together, I say, okay, we're putting cell phones up. We're going to talk to each other. I remember I went out with my teachers prior to when I retired, and someone at the table sent me a text message. I was like, have you lost your mind? I'm sitting right here, and you sent me a text message. And they were like, I can't believe you embarrassed me. I said, no, you embarrassed yourself, because I'm sitting right here, have a conversation. So I'm the girl where you send me an email and I'll pick up the phone and call you. And it's like, why didn't you email me back? I said, because I would like to have a conversation. I also told them that the superintendent told me one time, don't put anything in the email that you don't want to see on the front page of the Washington Post.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You, especially if it's something sensitive, if you send me a text message or email, I tell you point blank, do not expect me to respond. I am going to pick up the phone and I'm going to have a conversation with you. Tiffany, you were talking about we don't have time for ourselves. Again, I'm cut from a different cloth, because I tell myself how much I love myself. I look in the mirror, I say, girl, you are working that outfit today. Look at you. And my children laugh. They're like, why do you talk to yourself? I said, because I believe in having intelligent conversations. And sometimes I got to talk to myself. And I'm like, David, you have to encourage yourself. Because sometimes you have those bad days. And I was like, okay, girl, you feeling bad, but you don't even need to look bad. Let's put some makeup on. Let's change your clothes. Let's do a little something. Come on, we can't go to the gym. We're going to create an obstacle course in the house. And I go through the house and I'm talking to myself, acknowledging the furniture and the pictures. Oh, I hadn't even paid attention to that. And oh, my goodness, yeah, I need to get in here and dust, don't I? Yes, you do. So I must be a dinosaur from a different area, because I refuse to keep conversations going back with text messages and emails, and we could pick up the phone.
That's right.
I said, I wanted to hear your wonderful voice. No, you didn't. You just don't like to text or email. Exactly. But I gotta have that human connection. I have to have conversation. I can't spend my life on the phone. You know what? A lot of us who are used to being at a computer, we have carpal tunnel syndrome. But you know what? I tell people every Sunday, y'all gonna have carpal tunnel syndromes in the little fingers, because this is all you do the whole time. I tell them, I hope Jesus don't come during service, because y'all on the text. You're not even looking up. You might miss him. You better get phone.
Oh,
Even
that's so true.
I'm up on the pulpit and I see the top of people's heads, and I was like, if y'all ain't texting Jesus, I suggest you put those phones away.
That's right.
It's so true.
You're right. It has taken over, but I'm a dinosaur, and I refuse to do all my communication through texting and email. I want to hear your voice, because you can send a text message, and I sometimes tell people, and I tell teachers this: you send a text message to a parent, it depends on how that parent is feeling, how that parent's day is going, how they interpret it. It could be, oh, I think she just offended me, depending on my mood. But if I can hear your voice, I can tell by the inflections in your voice that you're not trying to offend me, but you're actually loving on me. And you can hear my voice, and you can hear if I'm having a bad day, and that should totally change your conversation. Because if you're my friend, then you need to say, okay, you know what? I hear something in your voice. Let's talk about that. Forget why I was calling. Let's focus on you. What's going on, girl? What's going on, sir? That's why I call people on the phone.
I totally agree with you. And I guess I too, Bravo being a dinosaur, I guess I'm part dinosaur also, because I really get annoyed if people text and won't pick up the phone. I've known people where they've sent me a text, or they've sent me a text. Okay, I pick up the phone, they don't answer the phone. Well, if you just sent me that text, you have to be near your phone.
Yeah.
So I'll text them back. Is something wrong? Oh, no, just send me a text. Well, why can't you talk on the phone? I had somebody tell me it was an effort to talk on the phone because she was too busy.
Oh, my.
She was too busy. She said, I don't have time to talk on the phone. I said, if you don't have 2 minutes to have a conversation with somebody, then you're doing something wrong that you're so busy. You cannot be that busy that you can't take time out. And I really believe we overemphasize and we inflate our busyness, because I think part of it makes it seem like we're successful, makes it seem like we're somebody. Because heck, if I'm too busy for anybody to get in touch with me or to do anything, wow, I must be really something. Well, the truth of the matter is, I'm basically hiding from everybody and everything. And I think we've lost that personal responsibility of what it means to be a human being. And I think 2020 actually gave us permission to do that. It gave us permission to say, I don't need to be around anybody. I think some of that fear is still there. And I know everything is controversial, but I really believe that fear still stands, where people are still afraid of each other. And I think that's the biggest injustice that was done with us, with us. And so then, how do we change that? Now, how do we get back to that human connection? This is where the concern is. Have we totally lost people in the world that we can't connect? Or what could we do to get people to connect? Nate, what do you think?
I'm really not sure, because the technology, the texting technology was created for short burst messages. We're going to meet somewhere and I'm jammed up in traffic. I send you a text saying I'm 15 minutes out, I'll be there. But people have converted that particular tool into a communication platform, and they're sending letters through the texting, and that's not what it was designed for. So every time every time society creates a tool, it can be used for good or bad. So we keep developing for good purposes, or what we think is good purposes, and someone always mess it up and do something different, right? The question that you're asking is, how do we stop it? And I truly don't know. And I don't know if you all are aware of this, but the technology is out there where men, and I don't know if it's for women, but I've seen it for men. Men can now buy a companion for about 10 grand. They don't need a woman to talk to. And there's a market for it out there. And they're designing women the way that they want their woman to look, sound, feel. And they're isolating themselves from real women and other people, men, and focusing on this new technology that's out there. So I'm like, we're going down a rabbit hole, and I don't have the answer. I think that for me personally, I make sure that I reach out and stay in touch and communicate with people. But I don't know how we do that for the masses.
Yeah, I think these robots that are like human beings, yeah, I think everything has to stop somewhere. And I think we're getting a wake-up call. And if we don't pay attention to the wake-up call, fake human beings is a wake-up call. That if we don't pay attention to that, then honestly, I think we deserve what we get down the road. And if that means that a world that really isn't a world anymore, then so be it. Because we're the ones, each individual has to be the one to decide to make the world a better place. And then once each individual can decide that, you do things that then foster that behavior to other people. And as much as technology is good, I mean, you look at some of the advances in technology and robotical surgery, and there's things that I wouldn't trade for anything, because you could be on the other side of the world and perform surgery in the United States or in another country. And that's great. But I think we have to remember to use all this knowledge and technology for good. Because like you said, if we don't, we go down that rabbit hole. And I hope this conversation is really scaring people out there. I hope it is, that it's making an impact, that we're on the verge of losing the human connection, and we need to do something about it. What are your thoughts, Dr. Durain?
Well, my mouth is like, oh my God, Nathaniel, I've never even heard of that. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because Nathaniel, who could replace me, honey? I mean, come on. My goal for 2026, and I've already talked to my children about this, we used to have monthly meetings. I know everybody is all over, but at least once a month, and we would go to, I only have 3 children, so we would go around to each other's homes and we would have a meal together. And we would play games, and we would say, nope, everybody put your phones away. And some of them got 2 phones because they got a work phone and then they got a personal phone. Nope, we cutting all phones off. But sometimes we actually collect them. Nope, put all your phones in here, and we're just going to sit and have fun. What I've started doing is my little circle that I have, I've started inviting them over, and we come together, and I love to play card games. And so we're doing more of that, where we've gotten away from that, coming together. Let's go to the movies. Let's go out and get something to eat. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. Like, well, one friend, she's like, well, I don't have no money. I was like, well, honey, we can go to Panera. Both of us can eat for less than $20 at Panera, or $30. So I'm encouraging other people to do that. And sometimes you may not have the money. Go to McDonald's, get about a tea. It's $1.19. You can't beat that. And sit and have conversations. Yes, you could do it on the phone, but face to face is so much better. I'm reaching out to college friends, girls that I pledged with, and keeping in touch with them. So that is my focus. I started a couple of early in 2025, and I'm going to do more of that, because I refuse to totally get away from that human. Because I need that. Because Tiffany, I'm like you. I'm a hugger. I need to give hugs, and I need to receive hugs. And sometimes you see somebody and you're like, you just look like you need a hug. And they was like, it's been a rough day. Do you mind if I give you a hug? And I just, random strangers, you look like you need a hug. And sometimes they'll say, you have no idea the kind of day I had. And that just made my day. So I'm not going to get away from the human connection. And Nathaniel, I'm rebuking that in the name of Jesus, because that's a problem. That is just, I rebuke that.
Yes.
Jesus, you cannot replace a woman, and you can't replace a man.
Mm-mm.
I'll drop a link for you to be able to see it.
Yeah, I want to.
Nope. I don't even want to see it. I don't
I
even
want-
want that in my spirit. I don't even want to see that craziness. So those are my thoughts. I'm going to do everything in my power with my little circle to make sure that we do not lose that human connection. And I'm a good FaceTimer. People say, why do you always FaceTime? Because I want to see your face, but sometimes I'm not presentable. But if I call you the same time all the time, you should make yourself presentable because you're like, okay, there she is. She calling again. I give you advance notice. So I do a lot of FaceTime.
Me too. Yeah, that look, Nate, again, that right there is crazy. I don't even know where to begin with we got fake humans now out there. I say just, people out there that are into that human connection, really create those spaces where you can continue that connection. And when we do retreats, I'm just letting everybody know, when you come to my retreat, you will have to relinquish that phone for just a little bit. Okay. We're gonna give you some time to call your loved ones if you need to, things like that. But when we in it, and we're gonna touch the earth, and we're gonna hug each other, and we're gonna communicate conversation about how we're feeling and what's going on. Because that's what we need. We need that communication. I mean, I love every Wednesday we do a Wellness Wednesday and we bring people in, and honestly, people have their phones on them, but they're not even concerned about the technology because they're concerned about connecting with the other people in the room that are there, and it has really changed people's lives. So seriously, start at home. When you eat dinner, the phones down, get a bowl out there that says phone bowl, whatever it is, and tell everybody, look, you're gonna put the phones in there and we're gonna have a meal together, because people don't even have meals together like that anymore. When you have a party, when you have a get together, so nobody is out just doing all, I mean, that's boring. That is so boring. I don't like watching people having their heads down. I want to talk to you. So relinquish those phones. And just make a habit of it when you're doing things, when you're having conferences. Because I know when I'm on stage, I can't stand that. And I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of speakers out there, y'all see it, and you don't like it either. Unless they are filming you, they don't need to have their phones in their hand. Okay. So seriously, just create those spaces. And I don't know how to stop it, Teresa. I mean, for that question, I think it is really just continuing to let the youth know that we need that connection, and just continuing to hug them. People, again, they're not hugging their children. They're putting them in front of these games and in front of the technology. Get back to what we were made for, which is
I think
connection. We need it. It is a known fact. There is studies out there that we need it. And if we don't connect with each other, watch an influx of people getting sick because they don't have that connection, because we heal each other. Remember that.
And thinking about it, Teresa, I think it might be we as change agents continue to do what we do. Now that I had a little time to process this, because here I have a community of about 450 men, and we've taught them to hug when they greet, and they're actually, when they greet each other, they take the time to hug each other. And it's not it's a real hug. So we're teaching men how to have connection out here. But it seemed, so all we can do as change agents is do it within the environment that we're in. And hopefully that will have that processional effect that will spread, and that they will then in turn go out and do it, and it just keeps spreading. But I just don't know how we counter this massive technology thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That's such a difficult thing. And, the world is moving so fast. And I honestly believe that we make ourselves too busy. And I really think if everybody sat down for 5 minutes a day and were with themselves, but I think that's the scariest thing, that people are afraid to be with themselves. They're afraid to be alone with themselves because I don't think they want to know who they are. And if that sounds harsh, I'm sorry. But the wake up call begins with you, with each of us. And if there's no time to know who you are, then how could you even go out there in the world and do anything else? You're really just faking it. And I think it's so important. That's why I love this platform that we come together. My concern today was I wanted to do the theme on strengthening the human connection. And I thought, well, if everybody's too busy and nobody shows up, that's not going to look good for a theme. I'm going to have to then change it at the last minute, because the first thing that people listening would say, well, if you're trying to make a human connection, you can't even find anybody to connect with. And that is sad. So I appreciate our platform. I think coming together as a group and really spreading the word out there is the first thing. Change begins with each of us. And as great as technology is, for God's sakes, just put down your phone for 5 minutes. My husband and I decided we weren't even going to have a little Christmas party this year, because at the last Christmas party, everybody was on their phone. They rushed in at the last minute. People stayed. Okay, if it started at 7:30, 7:29 3/4, they showed up, grabbed some food, sat down, looked at their phone, maybe talked to somebody. An hour later, oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. And I almost felt like saying, well, then don't even bother coming. So when we talked about it this year, I said to my husband, I said, no, I don't really want to go through that. I really don't. If people can't come because they want to and have a good time, then let's not make them come because they feel obligated to. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, and some of these people most likely are listening, but maybe that's a little bit of a wake-up call to find time for other people. So any parting words? We've got a few minutes here. So what are final words from you, Nathaniel?
Just keep fighting the fight. It's real tough. And like I said, I don't know the answers. I think we just as individuals keep fighting the fight, and then collectively, all of us that are change agents do what we can to bring about and spread the counter message to technology.
Thank you for that. Dr. Durain, parting words.
Now, I'm not a singer, but I think I can sing, So I'm going to give y'all parting words in the song. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place, if you can. And those are my parting words.
Yeah. Okay, Tiffany. Parting words.
My parting words. Again, we don't know how to stop this, but just stay connected. Continue to hug each other. Continue to know that we heal each other. Okay? We heal each other.
And with that, thank you everyone who joined us live, and for those listening to the broadcast. I know that this was a topic that some of you may be sitting back and thinking, I really didn't want to hear this, or, why are they doing this? But take a few minutes, look at the broadcast, replay the broadcast, and really sit down and think and say, am I making that human connection? And if not, what can I do to strengthen the human connection? Until
Teresa,
next
can I
week.
add one more thing?
Sure.
And this is the perfect time to do it. It's the holidays. You're going to be around more people, and everybody makes a goal in the beginning of the year. How about making this our goal for 2026?
Yes.
It sounds good to me. And as always, we appreciate our listeners, our subscribers. We appreciate everybody who is out there. And thank you for taking the time and strengthen your personal and your human connections. Thank you. But let's end it here.